Sometimes the running backs that you want to stash are handcuffs that are in a great situation with a good running back there that's getting a lot of touches. And these running backs are on the back end of the depth chart. Sometimes they move up and down throughout the season. And when you see a young running back start to move up in snaps, start to move up with workload, and it's always with a small sample, you always got to look into it. I'm talking about today about Isaiah Spiller, running back for the Chargers, and the Chargers offense is glorious. This is an offense you want a part of because they are consistently moving the football. They throw it to the running backs, good quarterback play, everything you want in an offense for fantasy football. The Chargers give it to you. Isaiah Spiller is indicating right now that he could potentially be the RB2 in the offense, if not be anointed a larger workload, a massively larger workload, if something happens to Austin Ekeler. It's a small sample with a little bit of information here that we're working off of, but it's still something that we need to pay attention to. In his last game, 13 snaps, 7 carries for 29 yards. He outsnapped and outtouched Sony Michel. Not by much, not by a ton, but enough to perk your ears up because you got to be paying attention to these signals. There's not many guys on the waiver wire right now to choose from. There's no elite running back that's just sitting there. We're fighting over scraps. These scraps that are laying here, we're just picking them up and we're seeing what we can do with them. Here's another scrap running back that we can look at here that we could potentially get, hold, see what happens with on the back end of our roster. This is probably better for larger leagues or if you got a spot open to speculate with. But Isaiah Spiller is somebody you want to look at on this small sample here because what if something does happen? What if he does get his opportunity? He's rostering just 14% of leagues in sleeper. Might have increased after the waiver night. A lot of people were talking about him, but still not enough. And he's also not garnering enough production, buzz, and workload to really have the masses going after him, but he is a guy that you need to at least look at. Depending on your league size and where you're at, you at least need to look at him. That doesn't mean you need to pick him up, because a lot of you are not going to be able to pick him up, but a lot of you may need to pick him up, depending on where you're at in the standings and what you have on your roster. If you're in a 14-team league, 16-team league, 20-team league, then obviously you're probably looking at him. If you're in a 12-man league and you're in the back of the standings, you're hurting at running back, this might be a guy to think about. It's not going to mean instant production. This is a lottery ticket with low probabilities of hitting, but could if this insurance policy is needed. Remember, Texas A&M, he finished his career with back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. He's got 74 balls on his career, averaged 3.63 yards after contact per attempt, which is pretty solid. And in the passing game, he has been a good back as a receiving threat. 8.4 yards after the reception. I stated he caught 74 balls. Bigger running backs who can catch the ball out of the backfield are guys you want to pay attention to because they indicate that they can run it between the tackles and they also can be swung on the outside to catch some balls. Athletic profile, 4.69, 40-yard dash, 27th percentile size adjusted speed score, 24th percentile burst score. Fell to the 4th round. Not the sexiest profile when it comes to athleticism, but when you really think about this from a fantasy football perspective, we're just looking at touches. We're looking at opportunity, especially in a short window here. The farther we get into the season, the smaller the window is, the more we kind of throw out the collegiate profile, the athletic profile, and we just look at the touches. This is when you start seeing more ancillary jabronis work in the rankings, the top scorers from a week-to-week basis, because you're just looking at touches, you're looking at opportunity, you're looking at matchups. If he gets that by default, if something happens, you might have something here. When it comes to looking at players, it's not the full pie all the time. The deeper you go into their career, I'm talking dynasty, the start of a redraft season, campus to Canton, Devi, you want the full pie because you're dealing with more variables from the long term. From the short term, the variables are more mixed in with the matchup, opportunities, touches, a lot of other things, pace of game, those stuff you want to look at. Isaiah Spiller, if something happens to Ekeler and these indicators are right that he is the RB2 or looking like to get a large portion, means he's going to step into a game script where he could be catching balls out of the backfield, good pace of play, offense on the field, moving the chains, allowing him to score fantasy points, could be used at the goal line because he is a bigger back that can also be a receiving threat. A lot of good things for the upside. So there are some things to look at for Isaiah Spiller. This is not for everybody. This is not for anybody that is good at running back or has some stashes that are looking to produce soon. This is a speculation play that if this insurance policy is needed, that could help you down the road. If you have Austin Ekeler on your team and you are looking for someone to pick up as a stash, you may want to look at him as a handcuff, at least for the short term, because there are some small little indicators letting us know that this could turn into something down the road. Also, rookies, they eventually start showing us what they are over time. So he could start showing us some of his talent going forward. Is he the best back? Is he an elite back? Is he a Jonathan Taylor? No. Is he good enough to hold it down if given the opportunity? Looking from his profile, looking from what I've talked about over draft season last year, yeah, he does have some goods to hold it down for a short bit. So he's a guy you're going to want to look at. But it's really depending on your situation, your format, and how you're doing in your season right now. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Love to hear about it. Is this a player you're at least thinking about? Or have I turned you on to him? Also, hit that subscribe button. I'm helping you out with these stashes, waiver wire, trades, and everything else. A lot of content here for you. Make sure you hit this next video for a running back that might help you off the waiver wire even more. But I want to thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video.